Well, good morning. We want to welcome everybody to the Pride flag raising today, and I am so proud to live in a city that values diversity and inclusion. And while today is a celebration of that, let's not forget the 49 people who were killed in a a senseless act of hate as we move forward. I know that you'll hear from both Mayor Kreisman and Nadine Smith. We have much work to do in the state of Florida to make sure that all citizens are protected and cared for. But let's celebrate today, and with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Kreisman.
Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt, the neglect. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness, so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by the rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. A Prayer for the World by Rabbi Harold Kirshner. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am honored to be joined today by our great City Council, by city leaders and staff, by Nadine Smith from Equality Florida, who will join me in raising this flag today, and especially by each of you. This is the third year in a row, that we've gathered to raise this flag above City Hall. Each time has been significant. The first time, a little more than 5 months after I took office, was my way of recognizing and celebrating a community that had long been ignored by the leaders of this city. It was to serve as an illustration of our new vision of being a city of opportunity, where the sun shines on all who come to live, work, and play. Last year, we raised the Pride flag in the wake of the mass shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, and in the midst of the subsequent and righteous calls for the removal of the Confederate flags across the South. And this year, in 2016, we raised the flag at the same time 49 of our neighbors are being laid to rest. 49 people, most of whom were gay or lesbian, gunned down by a hateful and deranged man. Dozens more seriously injured. Now, I'm going to resist the temptation to make today about guns, but I can assure you, as long as I am your mayor, I will speak out against the embarrassment that is our national and state gun laws. To me, today is about two things. It's about looking back at a tragedy and paying tribute to the 49 people who lost their lives. And it's about looking ahead to a weekend of safe and peaceful festivities, to a weekend of love. Love of country, love of community, love for each other and every single human life. In fact, it's life that is represented by the red stripe on this flag. The orange represents healing. The yellow, appropriately, sunshine. The green, nature. The blue, serenity and harmony. And finally, the purple stripe represents spirit. I saw the spirit of this great city shine in the aftermath of the Orlando tragedy. Councilmember Darden Rice called us together for a candlelight vigil right here at City Hall that Sunday. And hundreds of people, including many of you who are here today, came together that evening to honor and respect those who died so senselessly at the Pulse nightclub. Countless others in our community gave blood or donated to those in need. I am so proud of this city, but I'm not surprised. This is who we are. This is what we do. We are as caring and selfless as we are diverse. We are black and white, young and old, gay, straight, and in between. And no matter how you help to color our city's rainbow, you are valued. And when you get tired of being picked on by politicians in Washington or Tallahassee, tired of being targeted by the most radical and dysfunctional fringes of religion, please remember that St. Pete is your shelter. We are a city that no longer simply tolerates diversity, we embrace it. And for as long as I'm your mayor, this progressive city will continue to be forward-thinking, refusing to turn back to the days of old. And so, today we again raise this flag, not just in remembrance, but in celebration. And so now it is time to raise the flag. And now, Nadine Smith from Equality Florida.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. Thank you, St. Petersburg. I have to tell you that the vigil and that amazing night at the Rays game where everyone came together in solidarity to raise money for the victims, it matters. What happened that night took 49 lives, sent 53 people to the hospital, but there were 320 people in that bar who experienced the terror and a level of carnage that shook combat veterans on the police force to their core. And it shook the rest of us as well, because we knew this wasn't a random act. This wasn't just a random cross-section of American life. This was a specific targeting of the LGBT community. That this was a man with access to a weapon of mass slaughter who chose Latin night at a gay bar to open fire. And we have to remember that because, you know, some people have struggled to understand why we call gay bars sanctuaries. But if you have never walked down the street holding the hand of the person you love, fearful that simply by being yourself, someone will take that as an invitation to do you harm, you can't understand what it means to have your sense of belonging shattered. Many of us grew up in a world that said, as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender people, we weren't supposed to exist. And if we existed, we better hide. And if we did not hide successfully, whatever happened to us, whether we lost our jobs, lost our safety, lost our lives, it was our own fault. What happened in Orlando was the sum of all of the fears we carry when we move through the world. And no matter what twisted motive may be at the heart of this, what we know is it was fed and nourished by a constant stream of hatred towards the LGBT community. And right now, a very simple but profound question has been called for all of us. Will you uproot the hate, or will you continue to nourish it? Will you say this is enough, or will you let those jokes, those comments, the inaction of elected leaders, I can't tell you how deep the insult is that we have a legislature that failed to pass a state law that simply says you can't discriminate based on sexual orientation and gender identity when it comes to employment, housing, and public accommodations, and yet pass something called the Pastor Protection Act. I think it's pretty clear right now who needs protecting. So in this moment, we can be divided, we can turn against each other, and the good news is that's not what we're seeing. I'm heading back to Orlando shortly, and I will tell you that the gestures, the cards, the support has been, it helps. There's a lot of pain, but there's also some beautiful moments in the midst of this, of communities coming together. And we have to make sure that after the last candle flickers at the last vigil, that that isn't the only memorial to what has happened. That the lasting memorial is that we end the normalization of hatred towards LGBT people. Thank you all for being here.
If the media has any questions, we're happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we thank you all for being here. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.